Friend, let's talk about a common problem, a lump in the thyroid. When you're told you have a thyroid nodule that's reached 5.9 centimeters, this is something we need to take seriously. Please don't be scared, but we need to act quickly. The normal size of our thyroid gland is only about 4 to 6 centimeters long, like a small butterfly in our neck. So if the lump itself is almost as big as the entire gland, then it's really quite large. The important thing is for us to know the next steps to take care of our health and avoid complications. A large thyroid lump, especially if it's 5.9 centimeters, can cause what we call compressive symptoms. Imagine, our neck is a tight space where air passes to the lungs and food passes to the stomach. When the lump grows, it's like it's slowly choking these important structures. You might experience difficulty swallowing, as if there's always something stuck in your throat. It can also cause difficulty breathing, especially when you're lying down. Others notice hoarseness or a change in voice because the vocal cords are also getting squeezed. To better understand how big 5.9 centimeters is, let's compare it. Most thyroid nodules are smaller than 1 centimeter and often go unnoticed or unfelt. A nodule larger than 4 centimeters is already considered large and needs careful monitoring. So a 5.9 centimeter lump is more than just large. It's at a point where the risk of symptoms and the possibility of it being cancer, although the chance is small, should be investigated by a doctor. Let's not disregard such a big change in our body. This is a clear sign that we need to act. The first question in many people's minds is this dangerous, doc? The answer depends on the results of the tests. Not all large lumps are cancer. In fact, more than 90% of thyroid nodules are benign or not cancerous. But because of its size, we need to be sure. The size of the lump is one of the factors a doctor looks at to determine the risk. The most important thing is not to be overcome by fear. Instead, let's use this as motivation to see a specialist, like an endocrinologist, so we can be given the right guidance and care appropriate for our condition. Many people ask if it's possible for a thyroid lump to shrink without surgery. The answer is yes, in some cases. If the lump is due to iodine deficiency, adding the right amount of iodine to the diet can help. Sometimes, the doctor prescribes a medicine called levothyroxine. This is a thyroid hormone that can help prevent the lump from growing, and in some cases can make it smaller. However, it's not effective for everyone. Lifestyle changes like eating nutritious food and avoiding stress also greatly help to support your thyroid health. Iodine is very important for our thyroid. This is what the gland uses to produce thyroid hormones. The recommendation for an adult is about 150 micrograms per day. For pregnant and breastfeeding women, up to 200 to 250 micrograms may be needed. But remember, too much is also bad. Too much iodine can worsen some thyroid conditions, like Hashimoto's disease, or cause hyperthyroidism. So it's important that we get the right balance. Don't just take high-dose iodine supplements without consulting your doctor. To get the right amount of iodine, include iodine-rich foods in your diet. Fish like tuna and salmon, shrimp, and other seafood are good sources. Eggs and dairy products like milk, yogurt, and cheese also have it. The easiest way is to use iodized salt in our cooking, but it should be in moderation. On the other hand, there are foods called goitrogens that can interfere with the thyroid's use of iodine. These include raw cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, and soy. You don't need to completely avoid them, but it's better to cook them first before eating and not to overconsume them. Managing a large thyroid nodule requires a holistic approach. It's not just about medicine. A healthy lifestyle is also needed. Make sure you get enough sleep every night because staying up late stresses the body and affects hormones. Try to manage stress through exercise, meditation, or doing hobbies you enjoy. Avoid processed foods, sugary drinks, and junk food that cause inflammation in the body. Taking care of your overall health is also taking care of your thyroid. Regular monitoring is the most important part of caring for a thyroid nodule, especially if it's already 5.9 centimeters. Your doctor will use two main methods for this: ultrasound and blood tests. A thyroid ultrasound is a simple and painless procedure that uses sound waves to see the appearance of your thyroid and the lump. This will determine its exact size, shape, and whether it's solid or filled with fluid. The ultrasound is done repeatedly, usually every 6 to 12 months, to see if the lump is growing, staying the same size, or shrinking. Aside from ultrasound, blood tests are also important to check your thyroid function. The most common test is the thyroid stimulating hormone, or TSH test. TSH is a hormone from the brain that tells the thyroid to produce hormones. If your TSH is high, your thyroid might be underproducing or you have hypothyroidism. If it's low, it might be overproducing or you have hyperthyroidism. The levels of the thyroid hormones themselves, T4 and T3, are also checked to complete the picture. These results help the doctor decide if you need medication. Combining the results from the ultrasound and blood tests gives the doctor a complete idea about your condition. For example, if the ultrasound shows suspicious characteristics, such as an irregular border or microcalcifications, and the lump continues to grow, the doctor may recommend a fine needle aspiration or FNA biopsy. In this procedure, a small sample of cells is taken from the lump using a thin needle to be examined in the laboratory and determine if it is benign or cancerous. This is the most definitive way to know the nature of the lump. Being proactive in monitoring empowers you. Don't forget your checkup schedules. Note any new symptoms you feel and tell your doctor. Ask questions if you don't understand anything about your test results. Your cooperation with your healthcare team is very important. Remember, you are not alone in this fight. Regular monitoring is your best weapon to ensure that any changes are addressed immediately and correctly. While there are many ways to manage a thyroid nodule without surgery, there are situations where surgery is the best option. If the biopsy shows that the lump is cancerous or has a high chance of becoming cancerous, surgery is usually recommended. Likewise, if the lump continues to grow despite medication and is causing severe compressive symptoms, such as difficulty breathing, choking, or difficulty swallowing, removing it may be necessary to relieve the symptoms and improve your quality of life. The decision will always be made with you and your doctor. It's important to know when immediate medical attention is needed. If you suddenly experience severe neck pain, rapid growth of the lump within just a few weeks, sudden hoarseness that doesn't go away, or severe difficulty breathing even when sitting, don't hesitate. Go immediately to the nearest hospital or emergency room. This could be a sign of bleeding inside the lump or rapid growth that requires immediate intervention. Don't ignore it. Prompt action can save lives. Finally, I want to leave a message of hope. Having a 5.9 centimeter thyroid nodule can be scary, but remember that there are effective ways to manage it. Modern medicine now has many tools, from advanced imaging, accurate blood tests, effective medication, to safer surgical techniques. The most important thing is not to panic. Fear paralyzes, but knowledge empowers. Use this information to be more prepared when talking to your doctor. Please don't hesitate to ask questions. Be your doctor's partner in taking care of your health. Early consultation, regular monitoring, and following medical advice are your best defense. Take care of yourselves through a proper diet, enough rest, and stress management. Remember, your health is your most valuable asset. With God's help and the experts, we will overcome this. Always take care.